talk about root user best practices for AWS. So what is root user? Well, it's the account created when you first sign up for AWS. It gives you full access to all resources and features. Think of it as a master key. Now, this level of access makes it critical during initial account setup. This is where you begin to lay the security foundations. So on your screen, you can see a typical account setup, AWS account root user, and it's set up with admins, developer groups, test groups. But the first thing I really want to ram home is do not use root access. That's right, don't use it. So initially we have to set it up, but after that, and after I show you a few things, we are going to lock it up and only use it in case of emergency. Now I've made some rules called the rules of root access, and hopefully some of you may have seen this movie Fight Club and get the connection. There's the rules of Fight Club, which is not to talk about Fight Club. So the rules of root access. The first rule of root access, do not use root access. And the second rule of root access, if you want to try and guess, is, of course, do not use root access. However, when you're setting up AWS for the first time, there's some steps required to secure your root account and set up an admin user. So enable multi-factor authentication, MFA, by going to My Security Credentials, selecting Assign MFA device, and following the setup with an authenticator app or hardware device. Next, if you haven't already, when you initially signed up, create a strong, unique password, at least 12 characters, mixing letters and numbers and symbols, and store it safely and never share it. Do not create access keys for the root user. So let's now go away and do those three things on a real AWS account that has just been set up. So here we are in our brand new AWS account, and if we go over to the top right and click on Security Credentials, we will see this pop up, not quite pop up, but come in front of us and say you don't have MFA assigned. As a security best practice, we recommend you assign MFA. So that's one of the things I talked about, and that's exactly what we're about to do. So click on Assign MFA. First thing is we need to give it a name. So I'm just going to call it MFA Cloud Wizard root. And there's three options: passkey or security key. Now that's authenticate using your fingerprint, face, or screen lock. There's also authenticator app, such as Google Authenticator. That's the one I'm going to use. And there's a little bit more complicated, is a hardware TOTP token. You will not worry about that for the moment. So I'm going to click on Authenticator app and click Next. Now, as you can see, in step 1, it says install a compatible application such as Google Authenticator, Duo Mobile, or AuthIApp. Now, I have Google Authenticator. I suggest you use that one unless you have a reason not to. You can download it from the App Store for your mobile device. So let's use that, and I'm going to show a QR code and then scan that in, which I have just done. And the next thing you need to do is on your Google Authenticator app or whatever app you are using, put in two authentication or virtual app authentication codes. That will come up as it cycles through them. Now let's put in that one. 4, 5, and we have to wait 30 seconds, and I will maybe skip ahead. And then you put in the next one. And then we hit add MFA. Okay, and it says MFA device assigned. You can register up to 8 MFA devices of any combination of the currently supported MFA types. Now, the second thing that I highlighted that we need to do is use a strong root user password to help protect access. So once your MFA device is set up, you should also be able to see it down here. We go to update email address and password. You could also update your account name. I'm not going to update my password. I set up a really strong password when I first set up my account. But if you have not done that, I suggest you go and do this second step to at least set up a very strong password. At least 12 characters, mixing letters, numbers, and symbols, and then store it safely and never share it. And the third step, if you remember, was do not create access keys for the root user. Now, a while ago, I'm not sure how long, when I set up an AWS account a few years back, it automatically created access keys for the root user. And you had to go in and delete them, which was part of the security best practice. But now that looks like that does not happen. So they just make the caveat to don't create access keys for the root user, which most people were probably not going to do anyway. So great. So now we've secured our root access. Hopefully you have too.